Hi, guys. Welcome to the latest episode of the Lion and the Liverbird podcast. This is going to be a Euro-centric episode where we're going to talk about the first week of the Euro. So, right up till Sunday, where I think the last set of group games are to start. The Euros, as always, are very entertaining. A lot of talking points take place, especially when the smaller countries of Europe take part in the competition. We've had some upsets, we've had some struggles, we've had some incredible performances, and then we've also had England doing what they do best in their
Waste their
European.
talent.
Yeah. So we will be getting that into that. So the first thing that we want to start off with is obviously the teams that have impressed us the most in the Euros. Now, in the
Hey,
previous
hey,
episode,
sorry,
yeah,
sorry to interrupt you. Before we get in there, I saw like a funny meme because the Copa America is also going on. So
right.
that meme basically showed this dude in a nice suit, right? Nice suited, booted up. So good, prim, proper technical football in the Euros. And then, like two gangs fighting with baseball bats and like chainsaws in the Copa America because it's absolutely
Yeah,
insane. People
I've seen some
flying
of the
into
Copa.
tackles.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
it's
what the hell is going
insane what
on?
happens in Copa America. So South American football is a different beast,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and yeah, I'm not surprised at that. But yeah, the Copas have been crazy. We'll
Yeah.
also
Yes.
speak or dive a little bit into
Yep.
the Copa later on.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get
But first
back.
things first, yeah. So Rohit, can you take it away? Who do you think has impressed you the most?
Definitely not England, but I really like Spain, man. I really like Spain. They seem to have a good structure going in their team. They have Nico Williams down the left, Lamine Yamal down the right, two very impressive wingers, and wingers who have very different qualities. Nico Williams is a brilliant dribbler, very direct, pacey. Lamine Yamal, very skillful, really good at picking out a pass, really good setting up assists and all of that. And then they have a very strong midfield. They have Rodri, they have Fabian Ruiz, and Pedri. Oh my God,
Yeah.
and then they played really well. They really impressed me. They beat Italy pretty easily, although the score was 1-0. It was a one-sided game, to be honest with you. So Spain has really impressed me. I don't know what do you think about Spain.
I'm pleasantly surprised because in the previous episode we had spoken about the chances that Spain have of claiming the title, and I was a little skeptical about the defense and the goalkeeper, but they've proven me wrong. They're playing some really good football, so it's not always that the possession-based thing. It's actually fun to watch them
Yes,
play.
much
That's very
quicker
interesting.
tempo, right?
Correct. And Alvaro Morata is the captain, I
Yeah,
believe,
yeah, yeah.
which is a shock.
He's been decent. Yeah,
He's been good, yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. So I was reading this tweet the other day about Alvaro Morata. So somebody said that Alvaro Morata could be 23 years old. He could be 36. He could be playing for Juventus. He could be for LA Galaxy. He could be making his debut for
Yeah,
Spain, or he could
nobody
have become
knows.
like nobody knows. He's an enigma. He's one of those random players. But the other team that has really caught my eye is Germany. I
Hey,
think.
hey, hey, sorry, before we move on to Germany, one thing I wanted to point out with Spain is because you brought up the defense aspect,
Hmm.
Cucurella, left back, much
Ah,
maligned Cucurella has been really good for Spain. So he's turned his form around. Let's see what he does. But that was very encouraging as a Chelsea fan.
yeah, so Cucurella, I believe, also became slightly better during the last 2, 3 months of Pochettino's time, right?
Yes.
When he
True.
started, he changed the tactics around, and
Yes, he was
Chelsea were finishing. Yeah,
inverting. Yep, yep. He's not inverting
correct.
now, but he's playing
Yeah.
much better.
So he was good at Brighton also. It was very surprising why
Yeah,
it
yeah.
dipped so much at Chelsea.
Yeah,
So
I think there was some issues like personal issues going on, and then nobody really comes to Chelsea and starts off flying because the club has been such a mess over the last 2 3 years, right? The structure it doesn't help people
it's not the
flourish.
Mourinho Chelsea, because I remember you guys would sign players and they would hit it right from the start. They
Yeah,
wouldn't be
yeah, yeah,
bad
yeah.
coach.
True, true, true.
Football is
Okay,
good.
moving
So
on to
yeah,
Germany.
heading back,
Yep.
Germany have looked really good. I mean, the first match against
Yes,
Scotland, that was proper demolition. Even against Hungary, I think they did really, really well. That the youngsters that they have, Musiala
brilliant. He's
and
been brilliant.
Wirtz, they both have been really good. Musiala was, I believe, at an English club for quite a while. He could have been
Chelsea.
playing for England. Yeah, yeah. So
Chelsea sold him to Bayern Munich.
so maybe it was the best decision he
Like
took, that not
what?
to play for
What is
England.
like? What was
And
happening in Chelsea? Like drunks like people like taking shots of Russian vodka while making transfer decisions. Like, oh my god.
Crazy as to how talent has slipped. We've done an episode on Salah and De
Yeah,
Bruyne,
yeah,
but Musiala is, oh wow. I
yeah.
mean,
I
looking
love
back,
the fact that he's so good at dribbling and he occupies those central areas because when you're kind of cutting through teams down the center, it just increases the threat like by multiple folds, right? So
yeah,
good.
yeah. So I think those are the two standout teams. I don't really think anybody else has stood out as such this tournament so far, at least up till the first two games.
I
Anybody else that?
liked Portugal has been decent. You know, they had
Yeah,
like a bit of a tough time in the first game, but I think the second game, Turkey,
hey,
they won
Turkey
very easily.
imploded. No, no, no.
Yeah, yeah,
Turkey
yeah,
imploded. You saw that own goal.
yeah,
Insane. Even the cameraman missed it. He didn't
yep,
expect the
yep.
own goal to
Yeah,
go in.
actually,
So
yeah, yeah.
I was
I
gonna
did
say
see that.
Turkey had impressed us after the first game, but then Turkey became Turkey and just completely fluffed the lines.
Hmm, hmm.
Uh, so yeah, and then obviously we need to talk about some of the disappointments so far.
Yes.
So we have already alluded to England being one of them. We'll go in depth to discuss about them later on. But I think one of the teams that really has not caught my eye, or I expected them to do better, was Hungary. They
Mm,
talked about this apparent golden generation. They've got some really good players who play in the
yeah.
top clubs. And I think they're at the bottom of their group, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they're at the
Yeah,
bottom of their
they
group.
lost both their games, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an eye opener, some, because you would expect them to get something out of at least the game against Switzerland, but they lost that 3-1.
Yeah.
So
Switzerland have been really good actually, right? They've been good.
Switzerland have been good. So they've always had these good players, right?
Uh-huh.
Like Switzerland has, you've seen Xhaka, you've seen Breel Embolo, Xherdan Shaqiri somehow pops up
Hey, he
every tournament.
scored a wonder goal this time
Yeah.
as well. Like
So
what? That's
he's, I think, the
crazy.
only player in the history to have scored in three consecutive World Cups and three consecutive Euros,
Yeah, yeah.
which
And
is
bangers, man, like bangers.
he only deals with bangers, man. I mean,
Yeah.
that's another topic we should talk about is that how many long range goals have gone in.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
None of this. So this is another thing that we'll talk about is obviously how not all the teams follow the Pep principle. You're
Hmm.
controlling football and all. They just go all out and attack. I think that's been a breath of fresh air, especially after the long Premier League season. So yeah, Switzerland have been good.
Hmm.
I think that's pretty much it, right? I mean, I would say France and Holland maybe could be better. So France, obviously, they have their own struggles without Mbappe, and
Hey, Denmark have been good.
Denmark have been good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
We'll
So
get we'll
we'll
get to
get to
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because England should have probably lost to Denmark.
Yeah. Let's talk
But
about England and then we can
yeah, yeah.
go
I
through
think
France.
that's the elephant in the room. So we had a long episode about England. We spoke about them being favorites for the title, and uh, they're being England, I guess. I don't know what Gareth Southgate is thinking.
So
Uh,
about Gareth Southgate, I texted you about this, right? So they after the game against Denmark, where they drew 1-1, not the worst result, I guess, but Denmark clearly dominated. I think in one of the post-match interviews, they asked Gareth Southgate, "Hey, what do you think is going wrong?" And he said, "Hey, it's not easy to replace Calvin Phillips. It's not easy." Like what? Calvin Phillips is not Iniesta or Xavi or Zidane. What are you talking about,
so
bro?
Phillips hasn't played for City. He hasn't played for West Ham also. I think
Yeah,
he was on.
he moved to West Ham. He can't get game time there.
So when that clip came out, right, I actually thought this was one of those AI clips, where they're putting incorrect quotes. So I had to double check. And I'm
Yeah,
furiously texting people to find out if this is true or not. And I'm shocked that
yeah, yeah,
Gareth Southgate thought about Calvin Phillips. He could have then got Jordan Henderson in. I don't understand this.
yeah.
So right off the bat, we spoke about England having so much attacking talent, and they just don't seem to click. Uh, the worst part, I believe, is after they take a lead, they just sit back.
Yes, yeah,
I mean, there was this
absolutely.
graphic that came out where almost every single player, after they scored the goal against Denmark, they were almost on the
Hmm.
average position was on the penalty box.
Yep.
The attackers also.
Yeah.
So that's shocking. You would think that England just want to win the game, get 2-3 goals up in front, and then relax, manage the game. Uh, I don't know what's going on.
So I think that's interesting you bring that up because again I'm talking about another post-match interview. This was Kyle Walker after the game against Denmark. His overall interview was very good actually. He pushed back on the reporter saying that hey, we are still top of the table. I know we haven't been playing the most attractive football. We haven't been dominating. And then the reporter asked Kyle Walker exactly this. Why do you guys score, take the lead, and then go into your shell and just drop back? Is your coach asking you to do this? And he said, no, it's not that. We just look at the game, the in-game situation, and we try to adapt. So that tells me that these guys clearly, probably don't have the confidence in themselves, their teammates, and the structure, right? Because I mean, I understand Denmark is not, a bad team. Serbia is not a bad team, but clearly, like you said, England with its quality should be able to take the game, to them, especially when they've taken the lead. So it's a mentality thing for sure.
But shouldn't, first of all, if it is a mentality thing, I think England should be better than that because they've performed well in the last Euros and the World Cup. So they should know that, this group of players, we have done well. Obviously, there are some new faces in here,
Hmm.
and we should be pushing and doing better. I mean, Phil Foden's an
Yeah.
exceptional talent. Jude Bellingham is possibly the best attacking midfielder in the world, maybe best box to box. You've got Harry Kane, who people say is the best number nine. So
I
the
think
I can understand the defense not working out, but the attack is there. And
the,
then the
you make
other
a very
issue
good point. You make
yeah,
a very good point. Sorry to interrupt you. Just because you said they've done really well last time and the last Euros, the final against Italy. That's exactly what they did, though. If you remember,
yeah,
Luke Shaw scored the goal, took the lead, and then they went into the
they took
shell,
them back.
and then they
Yeah.
defended, and there was an equalizer, and they lost in penalties. So I don't know. Maybe they think that's the way to go. I don't know.
Yeah, so this was something we said that, just scrape through the group stages,
Mhm.
win the game in maybe extra time or something, and then reach the final. I think that's possibly the game plan. Maybe conserve some energy. I
Mhm.
don't know because they have been given a very easy group. I would fear for England if they were
Relatively,
given
yeah.
in a group. Yeah, yeah, if they were playing in a group with the France or Switzerland or
Yep.
Turkey, because
Yep.
those teams would have taken them to task.
Yep. Yep.
The other big talking point has been Trent Alexander-Arnold and his usage. Uh,
Yes.
now, I'm actually on the side of Trent that I think he's done a decent job. Now, see, this
Yeah,
is not
absolutely.
his normal position. He plays as a right back who switches into midfield to cover or create chances. But then you can't create chances if the players are not making the runs. This is something that
Exactly.
happened at Liverpool.
Exactly. That's a really good point.
Yeah, so there's no point in him playing in that position if a Harry Kane, a Saka, a Foden is not going to make the run. Everybody's cutting
Here,
inside.
here's my question though. Like all the names you mentioned, Foden, he wants the ball to feet. He never makes runs. Harry Kane, he doesn't have the pace to run in behind. He wants the ball to feet. He is like a playmaking number nine. Saka may be the only one who can make runs, but if there's only one person making runs, it's very hard. He'll get marked very easily. So I think there's something to be said about the structure of the team and the selections. If you are picking somebody like Trent Alexander-Arnold who can see a long pass, who can see a through pass, and you have Kane, right, who can do the same, but who are they going to pass it to? There's nobody making a run. It's like
Yeah,
you have the key, you
that's
don't know the lock. You have a lock, you don't know what the key is. It's
yeah,
crazy.
no, that's fair. That's fair. So all of this comes down to Gareth Southgate.
Agreed.
What is he thinking? What is his plan of action? I fear for England if they go up against a strong team in the next
Hmm.
round, which in all probability they will.
Yeah.
The other weird thing is that whenever Gareth Southgate is making any changes, you would expect him to make changes to change the formation,
Hmm.
maybe alter the playing style, but he doesn't like for like. So he
Yeah.
takes a striker off, he'll put another striker on. If he takes Trent off, he'll put another holding midfielder on.
That's a good point, though. I think one of the things he did last time was he changed out Harry Kane for Ollie Watkins. And
Yeah.
Watkins is good at making those runs in behind, but then he took off Kane and he took out Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now who's going to give the pass? Wait, what? I think
Baffling.
he's just in shock that that doesn't have Calvin Phillips. It's like, oh my god, if only there was Calvin Phillips. It's
Uh,
crazy.
It's insane. It's so frustrating to
Yeah.
watch this England side.
It's like a
We
stand-up comedy though, man.
yeah, and you know what's gonna happen. It's like
Yeah.
predictable. You know
Yeah.
this is going to happen.
Yeah.
He's playing a right back as a left back, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Kieran
He's playing
Trippier.
Trippier there
There's basically no threat down that side anymore,
because
right?
he will cut inside on the right foot. He
Yes.
can't cross with his left. That's
Yeah.
predictable.
And then Foden
You've got
also wants to come inside, so there's
yeah,
no threat down the left wing at
on
all,
the left.
basically.
So they've got Luke Shaw, who's apparently recovering from an injury.
No, come on. You
Hayden,
can't expect him to come back. If he makes a comeback, if England make it to the knockout stages and he makes a comeback and plays miraculously well, I mean, that's going to be
that
the
yeah,
first
so
time in history a player
yeah,
comes
correct.
back from a
So
long
why
term
would you take
injury.
a player like this? This is strange. And
Yeah, I
it's
don't
not
know.
like they don't have options. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to get the best option, but you need somebody who can play as a
Yeah,
left back. Ben Chilwell was there, right? I mean,
Ben
he was
Chilwell
fit
was
enough.
there. I mean, I think even better than Ben Chilwell, somebody like Tyreek Mitchell of like Crystal Palace would have
Hmm.
been better.
Yeah,
Ben Chilwell
yeah.
has been through a lot of injuries. Like, get somebody who can play left back and who's fit, right? And Tyreek Mitchell is pretty decent. He's not bad. I mean, he's better than like an injured Luke Shaw for sure, right? It's crazy. And another thing I wanted to point out was, I mean, obviously this was kind of on the tabloids everywhere. Anthony Gordon hasn't gotten any game time, I don't think. Kobe Mainu has got very little, and Cole Palmer has got 0 minutes in 2 games. Zero. This guy has got the highest goals plus assists, and he's still sitting on the bench, which it kind of makes sense to me in a way, right? Because you have Foden ahead of him, maybe Saka as well on the left. But then you clearly have somebody who has that X factor, and you need that X factor, in the game. And then he brings on Jared Bowen during the game, which is pretty crazy.
I think Southgate's just, creating a road for himself that he'll be managing a mid-table Premier League club
Mhm.
soon enough because uh, I mean, I don't know what to say. I think I've read a lot of pieces about this and none of the pundits know what's going on. Like they
Mhm.
all are just questioning what is going on? Why is
Yeah,
this happening?
too many holes in
Uh,
the team though. Yeah, so it's hard. I think personally, I think they should really start like somebody who can make runs in behind and more energy down the left at least, because you have Saka on the right. He's also a ball to feet kind of winger. You need somebody. I think the only person in the squad is probably Anthony Gordon, right? Play
yeah,
Anthony Gordon down the left, and I don't know, drop Foden or something. I don't know, or maybe I don't know, drop Bellingham back into midfield and play Foden as a 10, and maybe bench Trent or put Trent on the right and Joe Gomez on the left is something we had talked about. But I don't think he's thinking that far forward. He's probably just going to start with Jared Bowen or something.
he's gonna stick to the same team or something. He's gonna continue this forever. So if England play like this, I really don't think they're gonna win.
No
What
way,
do you
right? I mean, against the Spain, the Germany, they're playing so well. Even
even
France, I
Italy?
mean,
Even
yeah,
Italy
yeah,
is playing
yeah,
well. I
yeah.
mean,
I
so
don't think, yeah, they really stand a chance against any of
so
the
we've
better
dealt
teams.
with one of the favorites in England. The other one is France, and they've been dealt a major blow.
Yep,
Uh, Kylian Mbappe has broken a nose.
yeah,
He's seen wearing the tricolour face mask, which UEFA decided to ban
yeah.
because uh, medical equipment and face masks can only be one color. It can't.
Why? Why?
I don't
I mean,
understand this. What is
what?
this logic? He's
Who's
playing for
sitting at a
France.
desk and making up these rules, dude? I don't know.
So I
Oh
can
my
understand
God.
that you don't want to put sponsors on it because that's a different ball game
Yeah,
altogether. There are legal ramifications,
yeah,
but why not the color of your flag? I mean,
yeah,
he is playing for France in the tournament.
yeah.
You
I
just
mean,
give it to him. It would have been a great
uh,
talking point.
yeah, I think the
Okay.
the the meme going around was Mbappe because he kind of looks like a teenage mutant ninja turtle. It's like, oh, is he gonna wear the teenage mutant ninja turtle mask? But I think they'll do fine. But the other thing I wanted to quickly touch upon, who do you know who was the man of the match in both of the France games?
Kante.
Yeah,
Yeah.
N'Golo
Yeah.
Kante. Man, he's
He
back.
has been incredible. So
Wow, man.
there was this joke running around that the poor guy spent so long in Saudi Arabia in the heat that he's been unleashed in the relatively cooler climate of France.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
Germany. He's in Germany.
Man,
So
he's
yeah, I mean Kante was not that bad a player. I remember during the end of his Chelsea time career, there were injuries that came up. I remember,
ravaged with injuries. Again,
yeah,
I don't know what like the medical team was doing. Yeah,
and he would always be fit to play against Liverpool. Like
yeah,
that was fixed. So
yeah.
it's a nice story to see Kante back. I think that's one thing.
I think
The other thing I was worried about is that France looked a little toothless without Mbappe against
yes, absolutely.
Holland.
Netherlands.
Uh,
Yep, yep, yep.
yeah. So Ousmane Dembele, I don't know what he was doing. He was
doesn't
I
have
don't know.
an end product, man. This guy's so disappointing because he's got like so many skills and so much to his game. He's got pace, he's got really good skills. He can shoot, but his end product is just not there.
Yeah. So Griezmann was good during the initial. I think the first 15 minutes of the match was really good because both teams tried to score and then they just chilled out. But without, so Mbappe should be back for the final group game or maybe the first
I
knockout
think
game, I
so.
believe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. So he is the X factor for them. And if he's not 100% fit, so I mean, I don't know what a broken nose feels like. But if that does affect him, then France will
Yeah.
be in trouble.
Agreed, agreed. I was a little surprised that Deschamps didn't give Bradley Barcola, a shot
Hmm.
during the game because he's been really good for PSG. He plays, down the left wing, and he's a pretty good attacking threat. Let's see, maybe he'll get a shot next game round. But I think, yeah, their defense and midfield is just so solid. Even if they get Mbappe back for maybe 30 minutes the next game, he can make a difference. I feel.
So even Deschamps did a bit of a Southgate. So he played with three holding midfielders against
Yes,
the
yes.
Netherlands with Rabiot playing as a left midfielder mostly or left winger. So it'll be interesting to see how they line up
Yeah,
for the
yeah. I
final
think
group game and then knockouts.
Deschamps, I think he does that, right? He goes more defensive because I distinctly remember, I think the World Cup to the previous one against Belgium. I think it was in the semi-finals. He set up to defend, and then Eden Hazard, and they beat Belgium. And Eden Hazard came back after the game and said, "Hey, this is not the way to play football. You should attack." I'm like, no, I mean people need to defend.
Mhm.
To win a knockout game, sometimes you've got to be the team that defends and hits on the counter. So I think France will be fine. Let's see. Let's see what happens. I think, like you said, Kylian Mbappe is very good, but and very crucial. But let's see. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. So we've talked about the serious aspects of the Euros so far. Let's talk about the more fun aspects of the Euros.
What
The
do you mean?
Euros,
Calvin Phillips was fun, man.
that's
Southgate
sad. It's
pining for
upsetting.
Calvin Phillips. Oh my God,
We
Calvin
need to talk about
Phillips.
some of the other things.
Okay,
So
okay.
one of the major talking points has been the Balkan countries going up against each other and how
Hmm.
crazy those games are. Like I know there's a lot of history between the Balkans.
Hmm.
They don't really see eye to eye, and you don't always get these matches in, let's say, the World Cup.
Yeah.
The expanded Euro format has actually helped a bit because I was a little skeptical of it initially, but obviously seeing the likes of Scotland in here, we've seen
Yes.
Wales do well. So it's fun to see that. And then whenever you have two Balkan nations going up against each other, you know stuff will happen. I was seeing this tweet the other day. I believe five of the Balkan nations that are playing have been fined by UEFA for some sort of
Oh yeah.
uh, anti anti this thing. Like I think some of
Political
the
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
political countries are good, and some of them play good football. So it's been really fun to see some of these guys play well because you don't always get to see them, especially in Premier League football or even if you're looking at Champions League football. So yeah, anything that you want to bring up regarding the Balkans?
Yeah, I think the fans overall have been really great. I just wanted to touch on that because you brought up Scotland. They've done okay. They lost the first game pretty badly, but their fans have been great. I think even the Netherlands fans have been great. So the atmosphere has been amazing. But like you said, the Balkan countries, there's always so much underlying, the political turmoil going on there, and then years and decades of, bad blood between them. Yeah, it's been interesting. Thankfully nothing has gone out of
Yeah.
hand, so I think that's a good thing. But like you said, it's interesting to see these subplots kind of play out that you normally wouldn't in a World Cup where these guys probably won't end up qualifying.
Qualify. Yeah. So the other thing is what of Scotland? I think both the goals for Scotland have come as own goals this
Yes.
year. So I was reading somewhere that that is their leading scorer or the highest goal getter they've had in almost 30, 40 years of international football. The fun thing is that leading scorer of this Euro is own goals. We've got
Oh
Jamal
wow.
Musiala with two,
Uh-huh.
and then you've got five. Is it five? I believe there are five. Yeah, there are five own goals or something that's been scored like that. So, which
Wow.
is insane. The funny thing is, right? Last time around in Euro 2020, Cristiano Ronaldo won the Golden Boot with 5 goals.
Oh.
There were 11 own goals in that tournament.
Wow.
11.
I don't know
So
what's going on.
that was, I
Hmm.
think, the highest number ever. So I don't know. We might actually cross that number this time around. Obviously, the golden boot will not be given to the 11 missing own goals, but it's fun because you see some calamitous goalkeeping,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
which we
yeah.
saw with Turkey. So it's fun seeing that. It sometimes reminds of our school days where we used to be not the best players, but
Yeah,
even
yeah.
professionals make mistakes. So it's hilarious in that sense.
Yeah, actually, the Netherlands Spain, no, sorry, the Italy Spain game, one of the biggest games. It was decided by an own goal. Calafiori, the new Maldini, as they call him. He
We've
scored
been
an own
linked with
goal.
him.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
been
I
linked
mean,
with Chelsea.
Chelsea's been linked with everybody. There's a
I think,
pulse,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and if you're under 22 years of age, Chelsea is going to try to buy you,
No,
basically.
so it's very interesting because I believe he has his price point is, I think, 21 million euros or 22
Yeah.
million euros. He plays for Bologna,
Hmm.
but it would be crazy for Bologna to sell him now at this price point when they know that he's going to do well in the Euros. Italy will
Yeah.
do well. His price will possibly double to triple.
Yep. Yep.
So interesting to see where he goes. And yeah, the last point that I want to bring up is how good VAR has been in
Oh,
these
yeah,
Euros
yeah, yeah, yeah.
compared to Premier League football. Obviously, they're a little assisted with the semi-automated offside
Mhm.
system that they have. But yeah, they don't take time to make decisions, whether it's foul or something, except when it comes to
There
the
was
English.
one game where they
Two,
took time.
two games,
Two games,
two
and
twice. Yeah, yeah.
both
Anthony
were by
Taylor
English
and yeah,
referees.
both by English referees, and it just goes to
I
show that
mean,
VAR isn't the problem; it's the people who are handling it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
So
it
Van Dijk,
clearly has to be like some sort of like training, or they're not being given clear enough. I don't know, directives. I'm assuming, right? Was Why would like they be so much worse than their European counterparts, right? I think they're
it's
scared of the decisions that they've taken, some of the mishaps that have happened during the Premier League, and they just don't want to make the same mistake, and they take their time and destroy
it's
the
it's
game's flow.
it's baffling. So the one that stood out, I believe, was I think the Memphis Depay goal, yeah, or the
Yeah.
non-Memphis Depay goal.
Yeah.
Uh, so a lot of people are saying that Mike Magnan would have been able to move to that position
Oh, I think it was
had the
Javi Simons, right? Again,
oh, it
Javi
was
Simons. Yep,
Simmons.
yep, yep,
Was
yep,
it
yep.
Simmons? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what they're saying is that Mike Magnan would have been able to move
Mm-hmm,
down to the left if the player wasn't there.
mm-hmm.
But then the counter argument is that the shot was so well placed and
Yeah,
timed that there was no chance he was going to react. Like there was no time for him to react at all. So
agreed.
Van Dijk was asked about this in the post-match interview, and he said the English referees cancelled the goal as usual. Like he
Mm-hmm.
just went out and blamed them. I mean, I understand why, because he's dealt and suffered with Anthony Taylor throughout last season. We've
Yeah,
seen how
yeah,
VAR has been terrible in the Premier League. I
yeah.
just hope that this season VAR is better because
Hey,
they've made quite a few
do you
mistakes.
know the English clubs had a vote to stop using VAR?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was brought forward by, I believe, Wolves, who had
Yeah.
the terrible decisions.
Oh my God.
Obviously, we had our own fair share, Liverpool, but
Oh my God.
it's insane how they can think about removing VAR.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Mad.
it makes no sense to me as to why VAR. So obviously, they need to be trained better.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Let's see. Let's hope
so
it improves. I think they might have the semi-automated offside
they
as
will
well
have
at some
the
point.
offsides. Yes, yes, they will
Yeah,
have the offsides.
yeah.
But let's see. I believe they'll find a way to mess this up also. Like
Yeah,
100%, it's
agreed.
gonna happen.
Hey, I wanted
So
to talk about what do you think has been the biggest upset? I think obviously, I don't know, Belgium comes to mind. Belgium got beat by Slovakia 1-0. Anything else that's been a big upset?
I think Belgium's loss was the big upset because they've been talking about so much great talent, etc., 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 and then uh, I mean, you should beat Slovakia. Let's be honest. I couldn't believe that they couldn't get it over. Uh, I don't understand this Belgium team at times. I mean, we've seen Lukaku do what Lukaku does for Belgium, like not score but be a
Miss big
hindrance.
chances. Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah. So Kevin De Bruyne's again gone missing when it's clutch time. So I really think I don't really understand what Belgium does. I mean, what's going on with them? What are they doing? It's like England. I think England have been just as bad. I think we focus so much on England that people have forgotten about Belgium. But I don't know. I think that's the big one. We might see a lot of upsets in the final group games. We're just waiting for that to see. I think it'll start tonight, so it'll be interesting to
Yeah,
see.
yeah, 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 yeah. For Belgium, I'm really surprised that they haven't started with Luis Openda. He's really good, center forward. Lukaku, I know he's their top scorer, but he just keeps missing like open chances again and again. I don't know. Anyways, I think again
That
this,
that Belgium group is gonna be insane. The final group matches because
yeah,
all three teams are on 3 points.
yeah,
Anyone can qualify,
yep,
and it's a strong possibility that Belgium might not qualify
yeah,
for
yeah,
even
yeah,
the next round, which is insane.
yep, yep, yep. Okay, I think yeah, that was a pretty good summary of what's happened in the Euros. The final rounds are coming up. I think we're all excited about it. You want to quickly talk a little bit about the other side, of the tournament, the
Yeah.
Copa America, where they've been flying into tackles and like trying to kill each
Oh,
other.
so that's South American football in a nutshell for you.
Yeah.
We get to see a lot of the players in Europe, and obviously they are more refined in the sense that they're playing for big
Hmm.
clubs and all. But in South American football, it's do or die basically.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
seen that a lot of times. The funny thing is, for some reason, despite there being so many Argentina and Brazil fans in India, there is no broadcaster who's broadcasting the Copa America here.
Oh wow.
Shocking,
Huh.
considering how big Argentina and Brazil are in at least in Bengal,
Yeah. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Goa,
Yeah.
in Kerala. So
Wow.
it's insane.
Man.
So
Yeah. That's
it'll be
disappointing.
difficult. That's very disappointing.
Yeah, yeah. Especially
So
now, I mean, this year they also have the North and Central American teams, the CONCACAF teams also
yeah, it's
competing. It's
it's
an
it's
expanded,
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, version. I mean, yeah, they should have definitely been showing it. So I think, yeah, the first game was, I think, Argentina versus Canada,
Canada.
and then
Yeah.
yeah, Argentina won that game in the end. But again, it was violent. There were like some crazy tackles flying in all the time, and that's just been the rest of the game. I think yesterday was Ecuador versus Venezuela, and in Ecuador, Ener Valencia basically kicked this dude on his chest and got a red card. It's been crazy. Uh, yeah, I know we wanted to talk about some of the Copa America teams. Of course, Brazil, Argentina are the favorites.
Mhm.
But then you have maybe people rooting for the US and Canada. They have pretty
Yeah.
decent squads. Mexico as well.
Canada actually gave Argentina a pretty tough
Yeah,
fight. You would not
yeah, yeah.
expect that, but they actually did pretty well.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
think did did Argentina get a penalty also? No, they didn't.
No, no, no. They just they scored 2 goals, but yeah, they gave a good fight actually.
It was a pretty
They
close game. Yeah, yeah.
Yep, 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 yep.
It'll be
Uh,
amazing if the US wins because the tournament is being held in the US, right?
yes, yep, yep, yep.
So yeah.
And
But we've seen other teams do well also. So I do believe that Mexico could perform well.
yeah,
Obviously, the other South American countries are there, like
I think
Chile and
Uruguay, yeah,
Uruguay. Yeah,
Uruguay
yeah.
has got a good team, right? Their midfield is really good. They've got Valverde, they've got Bentancur, they've
Got
got
the best striker in the world in Darwin Nunez.
they've
No,
got
no, he
Darwin
plays.
Nunes up
No,
front.
no, he plays really well when he's up
No,
against, like
he's
when
a
he's
good
playing for
he's a good
Uruguay.
striker. He is. That's
So
and
Marcelo Bielsa gives him something special to drink or something. I don't know. It's weird.
oh man, and I'm also interested in watching Ecuador actually, because of
Hmm.
course Ecuador has Caicedo, who's a crucial part of the Chelsea team, but Ecuador's number 10 is Kendry Paez. He's like wonder kid out of Ecuador. He's just 17 years old. He's starting as their number 10. And Chelsea have bought him, with given Chelsea's fetish for wonder kids out of South America. So he's going to join us next year, but I'll be following Ecuador as well and hoping he does well. They lost to Venezuela yesterday primarily because of that red card and Valencia doing sweet chin music.
It won't be the last, I can assure you.
Yes.
It will not be the last
Yeah,
on this
yeah, yeah.
tournament.
Let's see. I think we're pretty spoiled this summer actually, right? We got the
We
Euros
also
going
have the
on, the
Olympics,
Copa
right?
America,
The
Olympics,
Olympics.
and
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if you follow the T20 World Cup that's happening. A bit of an
I
overdose.
am keeping an eye on it,
Okay.
primarily because it's being held in the US and I want to see how
Oh,
American
okay.
fans,
I mean,
American fans
yeah.
reacted. But you've got mostly Indian Americans over
Yes,
there.
yes, 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 yes.
So
The
I've
US
seen the
leg of the
stadium.
World Cup is over, but yeah, there was pretty good support from all
Hmm.
the immigrant folks here for the games, which has been interesting. Probably one of the next episodes we can do a bit of a deep dive into like the transfer situation, especially because Chelsea is going crazy trying to sign the next wonder kid out of whichever academy they can. And then I think the June 30th deadline is coming up for the PSR rules, and a whole bunch of clubs are doing some very shady transactions with academy players, because it seems like if you sell an academy player, the money goes directly into your profit section, and some very questionable deals are happening all across the board
It's
between all these
Villa,
teams.
Everton, Chelsea.
Will
Those are the
happen
three
to
clubs.
Chelsea. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Oh man, maybe we
We'll
can
touch
talk
on this
about
for
that.
sure.
Yep, yep, yep.
But as it is, the transfers have been a little quiet. I think it's mostly down to so much football taking place. I don't think
Yes.
there is enough time for managers and
Mm-hmm,
agents.
mm-hmm.
But as soon as I think the Euros end or maybe Copa ends, we'll see a flurry of activity, especially for the big names, because
Yep,
Liverpool do need to sign players. Chelsea
yep,
will sign players, even if they
yep,
don't need to.
yep.
And we can expect something similar from United,
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal. So it's going to be interesting for sure.
Yep, yep, yep. Okay, perfect. Then, thank you again, everybody, for listening to our podcast and watching it. Please like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Comment on, anything you think we're kind of doing right, doing wrong. Looking forward to your feedback. And then, as usual, have a good rest of the week, and then see you guys next week. Bye bye.